Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne, and we are going to be building another episode of issue 7, I believe, of Modelspace's Build Your Own Thunderbird 2. Issue 7 looks a good pack. We're going to be doing a lot of the gears and the ratchets to make the thing go up and down, and we're also going to be building the laser cutter and finishing off mono brakes. So that's going to be pretty cool. If you want to subscribe to this yourself, then just type in this web address down here and you'll get 5% discount if you use that code there on every pack you get. So this is available pretty much everywhere, I think. So you should be able to use this everywhere, and you can have this over 12 or 24 months, entirely up to you. But I hope these videos will whet your appetite and you really do like this build. But without further ado, let's get cracking on with it. Okay, so to get this started, as you see, I've got the unit here on the workstation again. As you see, this is what we're going to be working from first, and this is the first pack we're going to be working on. I'm just going to tip that out because we're going to be working with gears, which are these things here. There's 1, 2, 3. I'm just seeing how many. We're supposed to have 3 of them, and we're also going to need the 3 gear shafts. I'm going to put these all to one side because that's all to do with mono brake, the other stuff there. We'll just open these gear shafts up just like that. Chuck me rubbish away. Okay, so first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting the first of these gears in. These gears are pretty much, you've got one, if you have a look on the close-up camera there, you've got pins going up and pins going down. The way it wants it to go in is with the pins going up. And the first one, it's going to be lower a crown. This is step 1. It says fit a gear shaft into this post next to the front right leg. I'm going to turn that round, because the front right leg is this one here, just there. And we're going to be putting it into a pin, a gear shaft, into this pin just there. Can you see that on one of the cameras? Yep, that one just there. So we put that in. That was easy enough, wasn't it? And then stage 2, we're going to be lowering a crown gear into that. So called a crown because it looks like a crown, and if you just put it up just like a crown, that's the way it goes up. It says the parts look like this in step 3, and step 4 we're going to be doing exactly the same on the front left of the underframe. So this is the front left here. Once again, we've got a little shaft just there. Put it in. Whoops, put it in there. And then once again we'll put a crown gear on top, making sure it's round the right way. That's the second one in. And then we've got one more to put in, and the last one, repeat again for the rear right post. So it's going to be on this rear right post just down here. We're going to put one in there. So the pin in, just like that. And then the crown gear, which again, make sure it's in the right way. Just like that. And that's it. That's basically all of those 3 bits in. We haven't got anyone to put in this one. It's only these 3 here, just so you know. So that's that bit there. So what I'm going to do is pick that up and gently put this back on the floor down here, because I'm not going to need that for the minute, because the next stage we're going to be working on the mono brake, which is these bits right here. We've got 1, 2, with 4 bits basically, and we've got some bits on a sprue. So I think what we'll do first is get these off the sprue and make sure that they've got no burrs. Some of these bits are really tiny, so I'm just looking over at my little pots, because I'm gonna need, definitely gonna need some tweezers, I think. Get these bits off. And I'm also gonna just check that there is definitely no burrs, because these bigger bits here, see, that's completely clear. Don't have to worry about that. Chuck that on the floor. They've come off clean, there's no burrs, but I said if you have, just file them down with an emery board or clip them with nail clippers, but there you go. Okay, so first stage, we're going to be taking this piece here and we're going to be putting the cockpit just in this bit here, and it's pretty detailed about how the cockpit goes in. I'm just having a turn around with this unit here, just to have a quick look to see exactly how they want it. Basically, they want it this way round, going into this slot just here. So if I just put that in gently there, that's what it's going to look like. And that's what it looks like at the front, but it's going to need to be glued in, as you can see. So what I think the best thing to do is if I glue this with, hang on, I'm just going to put that back in just to make sure I've got it on the right way. Just like that. I think I'm going to just dub some glue just on this little edge here. So put that down gently and open my glue up. Haven't used the glue since last time, so hopefully it's working fine. And this is going to get a little bit fiddly. So if you need oh no, my glue is working fine, so that's a good sign. If you do need tweezers, then obviously use them. So we'll get that bit in. Making sure it's in exactly where it needs to go. So there we go, that's in just like that, and that's what it looks like from the front. So we've got a nice little cockpit in there. That was the cockpit done. That's part 2, just showing you what it looks like. And part 3 says this shows the cockpit base in position from the top of the main body. The seat's just in there. Absolutely lovely. Okay, step 4, we've got to remove the front sprue, which we've already done. It's the bigger one that we want. And this is going to be directional. As you can see in the picture here, you've got like a longer side and a shorter side. The shorter side is the bottom. So we need to make sure we orientate this correct, because this is going to be going just on the front, just in this bit here. And the way it goes on is just like that. So we'll dab a bit of glue on this, just on this bit that we put in. There we go. Again, make sure it's on the right way. You'll know it's on the right way because it basically flows with the whole angle of the ship there. And that's how that goes in. Giving that a bit of pressure. Anyway, that was stage 6, and 7 says make sure it's flush, which it is. Looks just like that. Step 8, we're going to be doing exactly the same with the other side here. Just seeing if the other side actually looks a lot more symmetrical. But I'm just going to do a test fit just to see how this goes. Make sure I've got it in the right way. Always good to do a test fit. Okay, it looks like that goes in that way. You do have a little pin in there. And on this you've got just a sort of like an open end. So we'll get that in. I think it's probably best to use tweezers for this one. So I'm going to get my tweezers out. And we're going to glue just a touch of glue in here. Just like that. And then we'll push this in to where it goes. It needs a good push in, this does, I have to say. But that, oh, just a bit more push. Just check in everything. Yep, that looks absolutely excellent. There we go. And that's what that looks like, just like that. Bit fiddly because you need to make sure the orientation's correct. Okay, the next thing is we're going to be putting this long piece in now. This is basically going to be going with this end here towards all of the sprues that you've done at the front there. So when it's actually it's going to just be fitting just like that, but it does overlap. So I'm going to push this in there just so you can see, and basically it's going to look like that, and it's going to hang over the back. That's what it's going to look like when it's in. So we'll get some glue in there. That was a little bit fiddly, that was. I'm just putting glue on the pins inside here, and I'm not putting a lot. So that should be enough. And you'll know it's in because it will clip in perfectly. Now it says it overhangs the body, which it does. It should be overhanging at the back there. I'm just having a quick look. Yep, that looks absolutely perfect. It can't really go in any other way. I'm just going to have a look if it can go any further forward. It can't go in any further forward, so it can only go in one way when you put that in. That's going to look just like that. Okay, now we're going to be putting that bit to one side. We've got these little tiny bits which we're going to come back to because we're going to be working on the bits that we had in the last issue, which was pack 6. So I'm just going to get all of these down now. So we've got 2 tracks, a bodywork and 4 wheels. And we're going to be putting the wheels onto this body frame here. Now the way they've got it is basically they're going to be using this piece here. And we're going to be putting the wheels into these tracks. So there's 4 to put in. 1, whoops, 2, 3. Oh, this gets fiddly. And 4. Once they're in, just like that, we're going to be putting this base unit on, and the way the base unit goes is exactly as you can see it in this picture. It's going to be going on that way round, but I'm going to put a little dab of glue just on these pins here. 1, God, you need about 8 pairs of arms for this. 3, 4. Right, we'll get this bit on, and hopefully it will fit absolutely perfectly. Then again, it never fits first time with me, so we'll have to see how we get on with this. Actually, that's gone on absolutely perfect, so I'm just squeezing that in there. There we go, and that's what that looks like there. You shouldn't have any give in these tyres here at all, because the next thing we're going to do is put the tracks on. This is steps 16, 17 and 18, and once the tracks are all on, let's get this one on here. on both sides we're going to be putting these. They should be able to just turn just like that. Absolutely lovely. So we'll put it on the other side as well. Can you see how detailed these little models are? The little tiny ones. It's just crazy how detailed they are. There we go, and that one's on as well. So we've got two on, working absolutely perfect there, and as you can see, the tracks aren't coming off at all. Okay, so step 19, you've got two little bits here. You've got one which is sort of like a 90-degree angle and slightly bigger than this little tiny one here. It's this one here, the bigger one, that we're going to be using. And you need to orientate it correct so that you've got a thin bit at the back and a thicker bit at the front. And I'm just going to put this in as a test fit just to see how this looks when I put it in. So that's basically going to look like that when we put it in. I've already pre-glued that, so I'm not going to need to do that anymore on that side. But that's the first light in. That was step 19 and 20. Step 21, the other light here, is just going to be going on the top hole just there. There we go, and that's the top one in as well. So we've got the two headlights at the front there, as you can see on that camera there, just on the camera at the top there as well. That's the two headlights in. That was a really fiddly bit. That was step 21, and that's just showing you how it looks and what way round it should face. If I show you on that camera again, that's what way round it's facing at the side there. Okay, so we're going to put that to one side. Oh no, we've got one other bit to put in here, which is the, oh, it's like a front grille. Okay, the little engine part here, which is this little silver bit here, is used in a different later on. So I'm just going to put that to one side with the monobrake because we don't need that now. Next thing we're going to be doing is bringing back up this unit because we're going to be putting some more gears in this thing. So let's put that there. Get me tweezers out the way there. And the pack we're going to need is the one with 3 shafts in, which is this one here, I believe. As you can see in the pack, got 2. Which are different from that one there. So let's open this up and see what goodies we've got in here. Oh, this one's opened a lot easier than they normally do. Now, any bits that are really fiddly, normally they put in a bag here. But this is all to do with monobrake, so we'll deal with that one later. But we'll put them all to one side because we don't need them yet. We're going to be working on these 3 gears. So the first thing it says, lower one side of the longer drive shafts into the left side of the underframe. So these are the drive shafts. We've got the bigger one, so I'm guessing it's going to be one of these here, and they want it in the left side. This is the left side here. Probably best on the top camera. We're going to be putting it in these little joins here and here, all the way over to the other gear here. So we'll put that in, just like so. And you'll know it's in because they'll all just clip into these little parts here. So that's in there now. So when you turn these, as you can see on there, it's turning this at this end here as well. Can you see that okay on any of the cameras? That's turning like that. What that was basically steps 1, 2, and 3. We're going to be doing the other side on the of exactly the same, mirroring it, but we're going to be doing it on the other side. So it goes into these little clip holes here. So we put that one in. Whoops, just like that. Get the first one in, and the second one just slips in, making sure that this is all. Oh, let's put that gear in as well. All lined up. Actually, make sure you're using the right gear thing. As you see, I'm using the long, short one. You want the long one. So that one's in, looking good. You know you got them in because it sort of sits in lovely. So again, once I turn this round, as you can see, it turns the shaft, no problems at all. So that's basically that stages all the way up to stage 6 done. Now we're going to be putting one in the back here. Now, as you see, we had a gear at the back, so this is going to mirror exactly what we did. It's going to go on that point there and into that little slot just down here. And then once they're in, we can check that again by turning this. As you can see, it turns that one as well. So we've got gears on this side and then half the gear on that side. That's basically steps 7, 8 and 9 done, which means we can put this back on the floor. That was a nice quick stage, wasn't it? Excellent. Right, mono brake again. Let's bring this back over. Right, we've got some little details that we're going to be putting on this. So I'm going to bring these all back over and we're going to open this pack up because this is going to have all the little fiddly bits that I'm going to need to put in. So there's 3 little bits in the bag there. Let's see what they are. Right, first stage, we're going to be glue the fuel tank to the top of your mono brake model. All parts used in this stage will have glue. The fuel tank looks a little bit like this one here. That's the fuel tank, and that's going to be glued in these 2 holes here and here. This has got corresponding pins at the bottom, so we'll put some glue on the pins there. 1, 2. Lovely. Right, making sure it's round the right way. It can only really go one way, to be honest with you. And then give it a good push down. I do wonder if that needed glue, because you heard that clip in then. That was really, really tight when that clipped in. Okay, it's just saying number 2 shows you what it looks like. The next stage, we're going to be putting the cockpit hood, which is this piece here. It's going to be going in this way, in this little slot here. So when we put this in, it's going to look just like that in there. But I'm going to put a little dab of glue on that, even though that does fit quite tight, I have to say. But we want to make sure this is in the right way. Just like that. Give it a good push down. There we go. That's the cockpit hood on. Turning the page, we've got step 4, just showing you what it looks like. Step 5. Now, this is the engine part that we had in the last issue, which is this really tiny silver bit here. It is orientated so that the sloping end is the front. And obviously, we've got that at the back. Now, this is going to be going... Oh, looking at the picture. It's going to be going on this thing here, which is... not quite sure what this is yet, but I'm sure we're going to find out. But it's going to be sitting on the back there. So let me just put this in to show you what it's going to look like. In the back, just like that. Okay, so let's get a dab of glue on that. These bits are really fiddly. Not too much glue, of course. I only put a minute amount on there, just in case I need to take something out. Which is probably a really good... I don't know, what do you want to call it? A plug for someone called Terry on my YouTube channel. There we go, that bit's in, just making sure that's fiddly. Who did notice that the walkway on my Pod 3 was around the wrong way. So I broke that open to put that right around the right way. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I glued that severely, but it was easy to do, so I've changed that. Okay, next stage. This is stage 8. We're going to be putting this little black sort of, what are they calling this? Nozzle into the power unit. This whole red thing is the power unit here. So we'll put a dab of glue in there, just like that. And then we'll get the black little nozzle, they've called it, into the back there. And this is a good time just to get my glue out, because, cloth out, because I've put a bit too much glue in there. As you can see, it's stuck to that then. But that's a bit further in there, but that's cool. That's done. So that's the nozzle on, just like that. And now we're going to be putting another little tiny detail on top. You've got two little tiny holes on here. We're going to put this detail on, and this detail, if you can see, it's got a little tiny sort of end on it, just like that. That's going to be pointing towards the back of this unit. So I'm going to dab a little bit of glue. Probably on the top's going to be the best way to do this. A little tiny bit. There we go. And then I think I am gonna put my tweezers on this one, because this is going to be fiddly. There we go, and that's that bit in just like that. That was really, really fiddly, that one. But that looks like that on there. Excellent. That was stages 10. Stage 11, we've got the... stage 11 is just showing you what it looks like, and we're actually going to be putting this now on the main body of the unit here, which is going to be going just in these 3 holes here. So it's going to fit in just like that. So we get some glue just on the little pins here. I do find the support vehicles that are tiny, this is smaller than the other ones that we had, are pretty much the hardest to do. But, you know, no pain, no gain. Now, seeing how that seats in. Excellent. And that's the fuel, what's they called this? That's the fuel pod on, I guess. Is that what it's called? The power unit. There we go. That's the power unit on, just like that. And then we're going to be putting the cockpit in. And the cockpit is directional as well. It's going to be going just in the front section here. I don't know if this is going to need glue, but I don't think I'm going to put glue in, because that really slots in good. And that just fits in just like that. That was step 14 done. It wants us to put glue in all those bits, but I'm not going to, because that's just me. But I believe, just looking at all my bits and pieces here, that is mono brake completed. What do you think of that? Let's show you a picture of that, so you can see some of the close-ups. That's one side there, and we'll just show you the other side as well. That's the other side. That looks really good, doesn't it? Right, okay, I'm going to put that to one side, because once again, we're working on gears. I'm going to bring up this unit again. And this time we're going to be mounting some motors to it. So I'm just looking what we've got here. I'm believing it's, oh, what one is it? It's going to be this pack here. I'm going to push that to the back. This pack here with this motor in here. Now we've got loads of little bits. I'm going to open this gently because all we're interested in is the motor and the screws. The other bits are to do with the laser cutter. So we'll get that out and the screws. And for now, I'll just put that to one side because we don't need that yet. And I don't want them going everywhere. So, all right, let's open this up. It's good when we have to work with electrics. I do get excited by this. Perhaps a little bit too excited, but there you go. We'll open the screws up so they're all ready to go. Okay, so what we want to do. Basically at the rear of the vehicle here, this part here, let me just double check. We've got a little sort of depth here where the back plate is. Now what they've done in this, they've actually taken this plate back out again, which I'm going to do so we can get this in. I don't know what camera this is best on, probably this camera here. So, but this can only go in one way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the way it goes. As you can see, you've got some sort of greenish bits on here. They're going to be facing towards the vehicle. Look at that. They come out like that. They're going to be facing towards the main unit there. And I think they're mainly in place just so that they can hold the pod in when it's in. So make sure you put that in the right place. The other thing to make note of is it's got a gear on this side. So obviously you want to make sure that that gear is in the sprocket here as well. So when this turns, it's going to be turning the motor as well. Okay, but that's in place there. So once that's in, it says lower the gearbox into position. This is step 2. The gear head engaging with the right gear, ground gear like this, which it does. Making sure the gears are properly engaged, tighten the screw onto the front left tab. The front left tab is the one just down there. So let's go and get a screw in there. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing all of the screws around this. There's 4 screws, I believe. No, 5 screws. So we'll put all 5 screws in here. But you do them in a zigzag. Pretty much like I do all of mine actually, but pretty much like you'd do a rocker cover on a car to make sure that it's got a full amount of pressure each side. So I'm going to the other side now. This is going to take us all the way up to step 5. That's that one in. Next one. I can't wait to get the electrics powered up on this thing. I think it's going to look pretty cool. Okay, I do believe it's only 4 screws. I can't see another screw hole. So, if I'm wrong, someone point that out to me. But yeah, 4 screws have gone in here. And I've got 1 spare there. So the gearbox is level. That's all in. And that's just that stage there. And then they want me to put this little, what do they call it? Bulkhead back in. Let's do it that way around. So as you can see, you've got this bit here that comes out the bottom here. That's going to hold the pod in place eventually. But we'll put this bit in just where it goes, just like that. And then once again, making sure these gears are going to be going out of place. In one of the next stages, we're going to actually be locking these down. But that's that bit done. I'm going to put that back on the floor now because it's time to build the laser cutter. Okay, so with a laser cutter, we'll open all of these little bits here, get them all out. Hopefully we don't lose anything. There's nothing really tiny in there. Nope, that looks good. We have got a pack of bits though. So we get these sliced up. So, apart from the extra long videos, what is everyone thinking of this build so far? Because I'm really impressed with it. I absolutely love it, to be honest with you. Okay, so first thing we need the chassis of the vehicle, which looks like that. And once again, just like the Thunderizer, we're going to be putting in the tracks. And the tracks are just going to be slotting in either side with a little tiny bit of glue. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of glue just on the sides here. There we go. And we'll put the first track in. The tracks have got sort of lip on, as you can see there. Probably that way around. So they just basically slot in. And when they're in, they fit flush to the actual side, just like that there. So that's the first one in. And we're going to do the same to the other side. Tiniest bit of glue. I'm losing my voice. That's not good. So that's the second one in. Making sure it's perfectly straight, and then that's what it looks like there. So once we've done that, showed you step 4, the picture I just showed you there, looking like that from underneath. Step 5, we're going to put that to one side because we're going to be putting this grey section, just like the Thunderizer, in, making sure it goes the right way You can see that we want it so it slopes down, so it follows the slope of the redness here. What I did last time was I put a little bit of glue just on the pin inside there, which is in, and then we'll push this grey thing all the way in. Again, making sure it is the right way around. Let gravity do its job, so that's in just like that. That was nice and easy. Then we're going to be putting the cockpit in. Now, if you remember last time, I didn't put any glue on this because I didn't want glue on the plastic, and this fit really snug in there, and that weren't coming out. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm not going to put any glue on that, but that's in. The next thing, we've got two bits here, which are directional. Oops. You've got this one here on the top camera, probably best, is the left, and that one's to the right. These have got to go onto the side of the vehicle. So the left one is going to be going on the side that's actually looking at me at the moment, because the little silver thing is going to be pointing up towards the back of the window. So what I'll do is I'll put a dab of glue just on this bit here, like that, and then we'll get the left side. Oh dear. Just making sure this is going to be in right. It does come out a little bit from the front when these are in. So I'll get the first one in, so it's going to come out a little bit just like that. Show you that. And we do the same on the other side. Little dab of glue. As you can see, I really don't use a lot of glue at all, because if I did, I'd be sticking myself to the model. Okay, get this one in, and that's that one in as well. And then you've got the two in, just looking like that. Making sure that they're straight as well. They're orientated straight. There we go. And that's what that looks like, just like that. That's up to step 10. Step 11, we're going to be putting this front unit in, which is going to be going in this way with the blackness up just into the front there. Because obviously this is going to be holding the cutter, if you like. So a little dab of glue here. The laser cutter. I do like these little tiny ones, I have to say. And they don't come much tinier than the Thunderizer and the laser cutter, that's for sure. Once that's in, that looks just like that. Okay, now the fiddly bit, we're going to be putting the laser in, which means we've got to feed it from the bottom out like that, so it sits in just like that. That was nice and easy, actually. That was step 12 and 13. Step 14, this is all going to be held in place with this unit here. We've got some pins to put this in, but we need to make sure we're putting this in the right way. So the way this goes is, let's get this right. The way this goes is this way round. So with the headlights of the vehicle going to be pointing towards the laser cutter end. So this is going to be going in that way. So what I'm going to do is put a dab of glue just on these bits here. 1, 2, and 3. And obviously you want to make sure that the laser cutter thing there keeps absolutely loose. You don't want that moving around. So we'll get this, make sure I put it on the right way. I tried to put it in the wrong way again. Make sure this is in the right way. Push it down. There we go, that's perfect. Just checking it on both sides. So it's absolutely fully down, looking just like that. Once we've done that, we're going to be putting this whole unit onto the tracks that we built, which means I'm going to be putting 2 dabs of glue just on the pins inside here. 1 and 2. Making sure that you put them around the right way as well. The way this goes round, just so you know, is with the there's a dot on one of these bits here. The way they've got it is with the dot going towards, hang on, now at the chassis orientator shown here, the end with the detailing in the front is the front of the chassis, so that's got the detailing on there, so that's going to be going on the front. There's no detailing on the back, so we'll put that in that way. That's one end in. And that's the other ending. So that's looking like that. Sort of hides the tracks, that does. But there you go. That's both of the ends in. That's step 17. It says check the parts are secure, which they are. Now we're going to put in some really tiny details in. The first detail is this little silvery thing here, which again I'm going to pick up with my tweezers and dab it in a bit of glue, which I'll put on one of my old bits of plastic I've got down here, because there's no way I'm going to be able to glue that. So I'll put a dab of glue in the plastic here. We're going to try and pick this up, and it's going to be going on just this detail at the front here. So hopefully I don't drop it like that. Famous last words. With these, it helps if you don't hold them too hard, I find. There we go, that'll do. Just to get some glue on the end there. And then we'll put this in just that hole right there. Take my tweezers away and push that in. just like that. So there we go, that's the little spotlight on. And then the last but not least, we've got one last piece to put on, which is this little piece here. I'm just trying to see what this is called. It says we're putting the nozzle here. It's basically a nozzle. It's going to go to the side of the vehicle there, and it's going to be pointing out just like that. So we get a little dab of glue just on this bit here as well. And then, this is fiddly. Get in there. Try that again. That didn't want to go in first time, which is typical. There we go, and then that's in. Make sure that's orientated straight, and that's that last bit in. And guess what? That's the Thunderizer done. What do you think of that? Let's show a picture of that. I'll give you 2 angles of that as well. I do like these little vehicles. They're really, really little tiny vehicles. As a matter of fact, what I'll do, if I bring over the Thunderizer with the laser cutter, and that's what they both look like together. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like them. So we've got the 2 little tiny vehicles done there. What we're doing now is we're going to be bringing up the base unit one more time, because the next thing we're going to be doing is a lot of gear work again. We're going to be putting in some of the straps or the motor unit now, which is this great big box here. Where does the motor go? I haven't got a clue, but we will find out, because we've got some gears in here as well. So we open that up. We'll take the motor out. We've got some screws in there, and we've got 2 crown gears as well. So where does this go? Haven't got a clue. Right, basically we have got, over the top of this, we've got 2 holes. This is going to be going in. Oh God, let's have a look. Sorry, no, it's going to be going on the front side. I'm going to be taking this bulkhead out because, God, is this directional? Let's have a look. Right, the way they've got it is going in this way. So again, these bits here are going to be holding the pod in place, just like that. And these are going to be going on just like that. Once again, once we've got this lined up, we need to make sure the gears are inside the holes that they need to be in on each side. Just like that on one side, that on the other. There we go. So when that turns, it's going to turn all of these gears around. And once again, we're going to be securing these in place with the screws that are in this pack. I'm guessing it's 4 screws again. And they gave us a spare. On this one, they've only gave us 4 screws actually in this pack. So there you go. No spares. We did have a spare from the last one. Once again, when we screw this in, we're going to be screwing it in. They want us to screw the ends in with the gear in first. It's entirely up to you the way you do it, but the way they've done it on here is they put this one in on this side first, which is held in by 1 screw. So let's get that in. Nice and tight, excellent. And then we've got the other screws to put in the back here. They've done 1, they've done 2 on this side. To be honest with you, just do it the way that you feel comfortable doing it. As long as it's secured and it's level, you're going to be fine. And then the 3rd one in here. And the most important thing at this stage is to make sure that those gears are engaging with all the other gears that we've put in. So we put this one in. And that's that in. So that was up to step 6 done. Now, step 7, we're going to be combining the motor unit's left gear with the left side dry crown. And the front left gear using one of the crown gears supplied. So what we're going to do is all of these here where we've got, best camera here, I'm going to point to it, where we've got 2 gears joining each other, we're going to be putting this crown gear in over the top to join all of them. And the way around it's going to go is obviously the other way around, because it's going to be engaging from the other side. So that's going to go in just like that. And we're going to be repeating it with the other side here, with the crown gear engaging from the other side, just like that. So there we go. They are now engaging both sides. Obviously, you want those gears to be biting the 2 gears in between there. And they just want us, lastly, just to put the bulkhead back in, just like that. So you just know I'm going to have to take this bulkhead out again, but there you go, that's the bulkhead back in there as well. So that was that stage complete. Next thing is teaching us all about the weathering of the vehicle and how to paint and weather the vehicle. That takes up a whole stage. But the next bit we're going to be doing is the side rail. Now you've got 2 side rails here. You've got a left side and a right side. I'm just going to find out which one's the left side. Looking at the picture I've got here, the one I'm actually holding is the left side. So this one here is the left side, and this one here, having a look at the picture again, is the right side. So yeah, we don't need that. So I'm going to just get this one out and we'll see how this goes. This is going to keep all of the gears and stuff that we've got here in place. So we'll open that up. And the first thing we're going to be needing is to take these things off. We're going to be working on the left side now. So remember we screwed these things on? Yeah, they don't want them on anymore. So let's take them off. That's one off. I think I've managed to put that bit in without taking that off, because that wouldn't come off on my one. It's easier to do the other one. But I don't know what's holding that in, I have to say. Very strange. Okay, so this is going to be sitting in just like that. And it does say, don't worry about this bending over like it is there. It does tell you that in the magazine. But we make sure, though, when they're on, that all the drive gears are actually engaged in the holes here. I'm just checking the other ones here are actually in. We've got that drive gear in perfectly there. There we go. So that's the full thing in. That's holding all these gears down. So what we need to do, this was up to steps 4, 5. Step 6 is just showing us that that gear there is actually in the hole. And we're going to be screwing this down into the front hole right next to that gear just there. So we need to get the screws out, which I've got here. Just seeing what screws. They gave us some more screws actually. So I'm not going to use the ones we had last time. I'm going to use the screws that come with this bit, just in case they are deeper. They do look a little bit deeper, I have to say, but it might just be my eyes. Who knows? So we'll screw this bit in as well. So the first screw is just going in this hole here, and this is going to keep that pinion gear, all the cogs and gears together. Nice and tight. Excellent. So that's the first one in. I'm just checking that all of them are engaged, which they are. And then it says we're going to be repeating this all the way throughout. 1, 2, another 4 screws in there. So let's put these in. I think I'm going to put the one in the middle next, actually. This one here. Excellent. Then I think I'll do the one the other side just here. I can't believe that thing wouldn't come out. It was really weird. Has anyone else had that problem? But it can be fed through. It's a little bit tricky, but you can feed it through, no problems at all. Then I think I'll do one at the end. Doesn't actually tell you what way to do these, but you know, do them what way you're comfortable in. So that's that one in. Next one. I'm going to put this one at the end as well. And then the last one is the hole right near the front again. And then guess what the last stage is? Once we've got this last one in. They have gave us a spare screw for this, so that's nice of them. There we go, the last one in there. All the way down. Nice and tight, there we go. So, we've got some pins in this, just so you know. We don't want to lose them, because they're going to be going in soon. So, once that's done and that's in, as I said, this will be tilted down. They want us to put this thing back on the actual spring here. So, I'm just going to get that screwed in. Just like that. There we go, and that's screwed in as well. And that's basically that stage completed. That was up to stage 12 now. So basically we would have reattached both of those. That's up to step 13 and 14. Right, step 15, we're going to be placing one of these pins in just this little slot here. Can you see that on the side camera? There's a little slot just down there. Perhaps if I just tilt it a little bit, you can see it on the close-up camera there, just there. Now these pins, it wants us to put a tweezer just to put one in. So we're going to be doing that, and then we're going to be doing the same thing on the back, putting a pin in the back there. And the reason for that is it's going to be holding, whereas these ones are tilted, it's going to hold that a little bit better upright. But it is going to be fiddly, so it wants us to use tweezers. So I'm picking it up with my tweezers, dropping it in there. I'm just making sure it's flat, which it is. I think probably best at the moment now to keep all of this completely upright, because they can just fall straight back out again. Once that's pins in, we're going to be putting the other pin in, just the rear one, just in that hole there. So we'll pick that up, drop that in, just like that. Make sure it's in. That's in perfectly as well. And then we've got this little power point here, power supply thing. And this is going to be going on these two little prongs here. And the way around it's going to go is with the switch pointing that way, outwards. So we put that on like that. And again, if you can see that from the top camera, that's pretty much how that's going to look. Just with the switch pointing outwards. Okay, now, guess what? We're going to be doing exactly the same thing to the other side. And this is the last pack. Can you believe that? So we'll open this up. We should be able to whiz through this now because we've done it once already. This time though, I am going to try once again to see if I can get these off and make my life a lot easier. So let's try and get this one off. Yep, this one's coming off okay. And can we get this one off okay? Yep, and this one's coming off as well. I don't understand why the other one wouldn't come off. That was really weird. Okay, so this can only go on one way. We put it on the way it goes. Just like that. Making sure that the gears are in line, and obviously this gear here, which as you can see is just tipped out a little bit there while I put this in. We need to make sure that's lined up so that we can get this all clipped down, which is a little bit tricky. There we go. That's in, and that's all the gears lined up perfectly there. They're going nowhere. So just having a look at all of that along the line. I'm going to be putting a screw in here, and then that will keep that gear section here. It looks like the actual main gears for the whole thing are at the front here. Even though there are gears at the front, they're really being the support for them is coming from the front, which is why I want to put this screw in here first. So we'll get that in, and then just like last time, we put the other 5 screws in just down the line. So I'm going to put one in the middle. I can never open these pack of screws up. No matter how many times I cut them, they never want to fall out. Right, okay, so I'll just chuck that rubbish away. Okay, so here we go again. Second one I'm going to put in just over this way here to keep this centre gear in place. And once again, as you can see, the back ones are starting to tilt over, but that's okay. They've told us that's okay. So I'm happy. I'll put one at the back here. That keeps these side rails in. Now, when this thing starts to, the motors go up and, you know, you start putting it on, if you've got a problem with the gears, you can see how much you're going to have to start taking off, because you're going to have to take all of this rail off just to get to the gears. So it's a good idea to make sure that this is correct now, so you haven't got to worry about it later. That's that one in, and put the last 2 in. One at the back here. Excellent. And then just one here. Just like that. Excellent. And there you go. That's all of them in. And just like last time, we're going to be cutting open these pins here. 2 pins, which we don't want to lose. 1's out. 2's out. Excellent. We're going to get our tweezers and just drop these into where they go. So the first one again, just drop into that slot just there. Excellent. And then the second one, drop into that slot there. Reattach the little plastic things here. Remember, the shorter one goes towards the back. So I'll just get that in. These were quite tricky to put in as well last time, if I remember right. Yep, they're going in perfect. So that's the first one in. Do the same with the second one here. There we go, and that one's in perfectly. And then last but not least, again with the switch facing the outside, towards the outside, so you've got a little V in that. It's going to be facing towards the outside. That's just going to be going in just like that there. And then guess what? That is stage 7 completed. There's a picture of the main unit that we've got here and what we've just done on that build. So what did you think of that? That was pretty good, but look, yeah, there is no more to do. We've done, that was stage 45 all the way to the end, and yeah, we are fully complete. That was stage 7. Not quicker than the other ones, I have to say, but I do like working with electrics. They're really good. So just to recap what we've actually done, I'll put a picture up here of everything. We've done the main base unit, putting a lot of the gears in place, ready for the lifting mechanism. We've completed monobrake, and we have done the laser cutter. So nice quick issue. Hope you like that issue. Hopefully issue 8 will be out soon, and I will get that up for you as soon as possible. If you want to subscribe to this yourself, remember, type in this web address here and you'll get 5% discount on all of your packs that you get delivered. You can have it over 12 months or 24 months, and this is available pretty much everywhere, I think. You have to let me know if it isn't working in your country. But other than that, hope you like that video. Take care.